This show is fucking awesome. Hello again, guys. Well, I'm back with another Game of Thrones video. It's actually only my second one. Um, I said at the beginning I was going to do a season by season review, but that hasn't happened as it turns out. Maybe I'll do them one day when the show ends, which I hope isn't anytime soon. Um, yeah, as I said, maybe I will do it sometime down the line. But anyway, I'm here today to discuss Mother's Mercy, season 5 finale of Game of Thrones. I'm actually still shaking right now. Can I just say this show? It's the highlight of television now. Uh, in my opinion, I can't see a show that is better, superior, or even close to it. Even below it. That doesn't even make sense, but it just sucks you in with the characters and the locations and the story, the twists and turns, tribulations, everything that goes on. It pulls you into that world, that universe, and that is the mark of a brilliant TV show. I just love this show so much. But without further ado, let's get into what happened in the episode. Now, as it says in the title and the description, this is spoiler heavy, so if you haven't seen the episode, I advise you to turn off now and come back when you have seen the episode. And as always, I hope you enjoy this, guys. So first, there was a lot of shit that happened in this episode. Let's go to the north first, and Stannis Baratheon. Now, as we saw in the last episode, he made the ultimate sacrifice. He killed Princess Shireen. Well, he didn't kill her, but he gave the order. And in this episode, we see the well, I was going to say rewards, but the consequences more than rewards. Basically, yes, the snow has melted, at least partly, and therefore it's going to be easier to take Winterfell. But half the men have deserted him, and to top it all off, Selyse, his wife, has hung herself out of guilt. So it's not really looking good for Stannis. But anyway, with whatever men he has, he marches for Winterfell, and when they get there, they're vastly outnumbered. And there's this brilliant uh, sweeping shot of the Bolton's army just surrounding the Baratheon army, and of course they get absolutely slaughtered until it's basically only Stannis left. And um, an important thing to say as well is that Melisandre, the Red Woman, she just abandons him basically. Although I don't know if she really abandons him, she certainly deserts the camp. But anyway, Stannis is basically defeated, and he's on his last breath, well, so it seems. And who should find him but Brienne of Tarth, who is looking revenge for Renly, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see what has happened there, next season. Also in the north, we had another jump forward in the Sansa story. We have Reek, formerly known as Theon Greyjoy. He kills Miranda, is it? Yeah, Miranda. He ultimately kills her, and I don't think he's back to being Theon yet. I think he's still Reek. I think, but there's definitely a flash of Theon there, and he has basically helped Sansa escape. They jumped rather daringly. They jumped off the castle in the big mountain of snow, which I don't think would be physically possible in real life. I think you would just die on impact. But yeah, as I said, a little bit far fetched, but it'll be interesting to see where the character of Sansa and ultimately where the character of Theon slash Reek goes. Now Arya has turned into a little badass. She really has. I mean, she locates Trent, Merlin Trent, isn't it? Yeah, and at a brothel, which was really uncomfortable to watch. To be honest, he was uh, whipping little girls. It just wasn't nice to watch in that way. But yeah, she gouges out his eyes. She stabs him in the thighs and the knee, and then she ultimately cuts his throat. But the consequence of that comes when she returns to uh, the big house in Bravos, and Jaqen and the Waif find her, and they basically chastise her, and uh, they say obviously that man wasn't yours to kill, that was wrong, and if you kill the wrong person, that can be like a poison going through your system, and ultimately, Arya is now blind. It seems, which is apparently a big plot point in the book. I haven't read the books, but yeah, she goes blind, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes as well. Now, in this episode, there wasn't really a lot of things that happened across the narrow sea, so to speak. Um, the main thing, I suppose, is that we see that Drogon has carried Daenerys really far away from Meereen, and to a place that looks suspiciously like the north coast of Northern Ireland. But yeah, we see that he's taken her really far north, um, and he is tired, obviously still hurt from the spears and everything he got in the fighting pits. So Daenerys decides to take a walk, and who should surround her but the Dothraki? Obviously, she is still the Khaleesi, but she's strayed away from that a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how the Dothraki take to her, especially now that Khal Drogo is dead. Yes, I think we got our final bit of Dorne for the season. You have Jaime and Bronn have successfully, they've got Myrcella, who has agreed to come home with Trystane, son of the prince, obviously, Prince Martell. And on the way home on the boat, possibly, well, I was going to say it's my favourite scene, but one of my favourite scenes happens on the boat where Jaime uh, he basically sets Myrcella down, and he starts to tell her about obviously him and Cersei and the fact that he is actually her father. But it turns out she's already guessed it, and she's guessed it and she's known for a long time, and she's perfectly fine with it. And it's a lovely scene, or at least it was a lovely scene until she pulls away and we see her nose bleeding, quite like Bronn in last week's episode, I think it was, where he was poisoned and he didn't even know it. But basically, Myrcella has been poisoned by I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, but she was Prince Oberyn's sister, I think, and his lover as well. But she's been poisoned, obviously, as revenge for the Mountains killing, well, ultimately, the Lannisters' murder of Prince Oberyn. So she's been poisoned. We don't know if she's dead or not, because with Game of Thrones, I've always said this, and some other YouTubers have said it as well. You see, unless you see them actually dying on screen, I don't count them as dead until I see their body lying. I really don't count it. Speaking of Cersei, King's Landing, she finally confessed to the High Sparrow of incest, but not with Jaime of Lancel, one of the High Sparrow's consorts, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Lancel, if the High Sparrow will be as harsh with him as he has with Cersei. But basically, he has her head shaved, and she's stripped and made to walk from Sept of Baelor back to the Red Keep, which I think the showrunners did a really good job of showing just how long that walk was. It was I think it was a 10-15 minute sequence actually. Just wasn't one take. Well, it wasn't one take, but it felt like a continuous shot. If that makes any sense, but like 15 minutes of her just walking. There's guys shouting at her, insulting her, throwing tomatoes, throwing shit at her, basically, quite literally. And she's walking all the way, and then there's broken glass and like, she's basically, I think that there's a part where she walks through Flea Bottom as well, where all the lower class live and all the street urchins and all. So it's just walking on broken glass, and it can't have been very clean, and like her feet are bleeding, or because when she gets into the Red Keep, her feet are bleeding. But basically, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I'm trying to process my thoughts as I go along here. Yeah, so she gets into the Red Keep, and she's finally safe. And we finally see the mountain has been resurrected. Will he become a White Walker? I don't know. I don't quite know how it works. It's very similar to Frankenstein, how it's happened. You know, we've seen the new Maester. We've seen him working on him throughout the series. Um, Season, I should say, sorry. We've seen him working on him, and now this is finally the end product. You can tell he's definitely a dead man walking, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, if he will stay loyal. Finally, the biggest news to come out of this season finale, and I was shocked, again, because I haven't read the books, but um, from what I've heard, everyone who's read the books has known about this for like 4 years, so, and they've just been waiting on it. Jon Snow is dead. Yep, as far as the end of this episode goes, he is dead. Yeah, you know, you have, obviously he's the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. He is Sir Davos. Is there obviously under the orders of Stannis from the last episode, trying to get the Night's Watch and the Wildlings to come and help Stannis, which obviously he's too late, as from what we saw earlier in the episode. But he's there, and suddenly the gates open, and who should come through them but Melisandre. So what is she doing there? We didn't find out before the episode had ended. So season 6 opener, I think we'll find out. I think she'll have a very important part to play. So yeah, basically, Jon Snow, he lets Sam take Gilly and the baby to Oldtown, and he lets Samwell. I don't know if he's let him leave the Night's Watch, but he's letting him become a Maester. So that started another storyline, I think, as well. And also, what else happened to the wall? Oh yes, well, there wasn't much else happening, but the big ending. John's sitting in the office, and then Ollie, who I didn't trust from the very beginning. I just really didn't. Don't get me wrong. I felt sorry for him that his family were killed by the Thanes and everything, but I just didn't trust him. The minute he came to the wall, I didn't trust him. And it turns out I was right, because he comes in and he spins John this whole story that basically one of the Wildlings, was it one of the Wildlings? Can't remember, but yes it was. One of the Wildlings has seen his uncle Benjen, who hasn't been mentioned from season 1. Can you believe that? Season 1, we haven't even heard a mention of him. He's like the last living pure Stark. So you know, he's obviously Ned's brother, and we haven't heard about him from season 1. So it was nice to have that sort of referenced again. But basically, he's spun this whole story. So obviously, John, he's rushing outside to see it, and he pushes through this crowd. All he sees is a little bit of wood, traitor on it. He turns around, Sir Alistair stabs him. Most of the watch stabs him, and then Ollie comes in and delivers the final blow as basically revenge for letting the Wildlings through the gate. I knew it was going to come back to bite him on the ass. I really did. You know, as Sir Alistair says, it turned out it came true. You have a good heart, Jon Snow. It's going to get us all killed. Well, not us all, but Jon Snow at least. And that is where the episode ended. Now, I can't tell you how excited I am for season 6. I mean, what is going to happen? One thing I will say, I do not think the writers are going to kill off Jon Snow. Jon Snow is the last remaining most popular character. Sorry, no, I will wash my mouth out. Tyrion Lannister, who I haven't even talked about, he's basically been left in charge of Meereen as Jorah, and again, I can't remember his name. He's Daenerys' squeeze, basically. They ride off to go and try and find her. He's basically been left in charge of Meereen, and now he is Varys back, who hasn't been seen since the end of season 4. No, not the end of season 4. Sorry, the start of this season. See, everything flows like a story to me. I can't distinguish. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a power struggle there. But basically, back to my thoughts. No, I don't think that they're going to kill Jon Snow permanently. And the fact that Melisandre showed up at the wall, you know, she's brought people back to life before. We saw it with the guy who was holding Arya prisoner, along with the Hound, he's been brought back to life about 6 or 7 times, so he's no stranger to it. So we know she can bring people back to life. So that's one possibility. The other possibility, of course, is he comes back as a White Walker, which I think is highly unlikely. I don't think that it would do that to us. But then again, that's what I said before the Red Wedding happened. So yeah, I predict Jon Snow isn't dead. What else do I predict? I honestly don't know. It'll be interesting to see where King's Landing goes in all this. Will Cersei get revenge on the High Sparrow? I think she will, because now she's got the mountain back. King Tommen, what's he going to do about Marjorie, who hasn't been seen all season either? Sorry, hasn't been seen all season. Hasn't been seen since episode 7, I want to say. Am I right? Please tell me if I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. Crossing the Narrow Sea, will the Dothraki take to Daenerys, or will they hate her? What's going to happen when Jaime and Bronn get back to King's Landing? Is Myrcella dead? All these questions, every single season finale of Game of Thrones, they leave you with like 10, 20 questions, and that's just putting a lid on it. Such a great show. I just can't believe this. I can't believe how much it's just grown on me. It's just pulled me in. I just love these characters. I love this show so much. The one problem I had with this episode was I wanted Davos to come back to Stannis' camp and find out that Shireen was dead on his orders, because I think he would have just turned on him. I think he would have turned on him and tried to kill him. Davos to Stannis, I mean. But anyway, I'm rambling on. So yeah, guys, that was my review for Mother's Mercy. Absolutely A star from me. A plus even. Sorry, I haven't got a Mother's Mercy. Great season 5 finale. Great season finale. I think my favourite season finale. Apart from season 1 was pretty hard to beat, I think. But oh, I can't wait for season 6. Anyway, guys, if you like this, please press that button. Subscribe, comment everything and anything down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and I'll see you soon for another video. Thanks very much.